Thank you so much for joining us this evening on Everyday Yoga. I am here with a live Zoom class, and we have had a request this evening for some shoulder stretches and some hip openers, but we're going to start with a short meditation. So go ahead and sit comfortably, either on a block or a cushion. And just find yourself a nice tall spine. And before we really get started, let's just run the hands up and down the thighs. Just kind of feeling your thighs underneath your palms. You can move really slow or you can move really fast if you want to create some heat. And if it feels comfortable to close your eyes, go ahead and close your eyes. And if not, just take a soft gaze. Maybe massage your knees a little bit. You can kind of relax that tall spine as you maybe fold forward. Just run your hands along the insides of your calves. And then take them up the outsides of the thighs and just take them to your hips. Maybe take the heels of your hands and just kind of massage into the hips, maybe into the low back, maybe moving really slow or really fast if you want to get some movement, or somewhere in between, maybe coming to the front of the hips. And then maybe take your right hand over to your rib cage on your left side. Just run your fingers slowly and gently in between the ribs. You might feel them, you might not, but just generally where they are, you might be able to get down into that connective tissue in between the ribs. Please ignore the creepy ice cream van if you hear the music as it drives by. And then we'll reach the right arm up and bring the left hand over to the right side body. Maybe you can even notice the texture of the rib underneath your fingertips. Maybe not, but maybe you can kind of visualize what's underneath there. These ribs hold in all of your organs in your belly. You can take your palms to your belly and just kind of gently rub them around in circles. These very fragile ribs protect the heart and the lungs. You might want to take the pinky edge of your hands and just run them up and down at the very bottom of the rib cage. And then maybe you can bring the right fingertips underneath the left collarbone. Just give yourself a little bit of massage there. Maybe moving from the inside of the collarbone out towards the shoulder. Maybe getting into this pectoral muscle here and out underneath the armpit area, underneath the breasts. And then you can lower that left arm and maybe come up through the center of the chest, getting into the thyroid area and the thymus gland and the sternum and the heart area. And then bring the left fingertips underneath the collarbone and just visualize that skin and then the connective tissue underneath the skin, the layer of fat that's there to keep you warm, muscle and bone. Just making that same journey around into the pectoral muscle and under the armpit, underneath the breast or pectoral muscle here, and coming up through center. And then maybe take your hands along your shoulders, take one palm to each shoulder, kind of crisscross in front of the heart, and just massage in the shoulders. down the biceps and triceps, along the forearms, just noticing any areas where you might be tender or stiff or stuck or tense. And just bring a little compassion, and then maybe rub your hands together. And then you can take your right palm to the base of your left side of your neck and the top of the shoulder and just kind of rub right there, maybe taking the gaze down towards the earth. And then running the hand down across the body, back to the right thigh. And then take the right palm to the base of the neck or left palm to the right side of the neck. And do the same thing over there. Just noticing any tenderness. Not shying away from it, but bringing a little gentleness to it. And then take the palm across the body and bring the left hand back to the left knee. And then no matter how you're sitting, let's go ahead and cross the legs. Switch the cross so that we're balancing out the hips. And after all of that movement, we'll bring the hands to the tops of the thighs or knees. We'll reestablish that nice long spine. And let's just take a couple of intentional breaths here. And bring a little intention to your practice today, one of self-compassion and self-love. And as you move throughout your practice today, see where you can bring a little bit of compassion to it. See where you can bring a little love and gentleness to it. So let's inhale a few deliberate breaths, inhaling love and inhaling for a count of 6, and then we'll exhale compassion for a count of 7. So we'll do that a few times. We'll inhale love for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and exhale compassion. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Keep breathing in that rhythm. Letting the belly fill slowly with that fresh oxygen. And let the breath out just as slowly, just a little bit at a time, so that you can take those full 7 counts. And if this is not comfortable for you, or if that's too long, definitely shorten the length. But try to see if maybe you couldn't push yourself to your edge. We don't take ourselves to our edge. We never know where the edge is, do we? So nice and slow, breathing, inhaling love, focusing on the heart area, exhaling compassion. And what does compassion feel like when you feel it for another person? What does love feel like when you feel it for something else, someone else? And see if you can't direct those feelings towards yourself for our practice today. Let's go ahead and change positions here, taking a block or two up underneath your sit bones. Just rebalancing the hips. We're only going to stay here a few moments more. Sitting up nice and tall, lengthening through the spine, visualizing the base of the spine, visualizing space in between each vertebrae as you take your awareness upward from the base of the spine, middle, between the shoulder blades, back of the neck. Making more and more space as you tuck the chin and let the shoulders be heavy, as far away from the ears as possible. And then we'll stretch the arms out until the arms are straight and lift the heart and arch the back, coming into a seated cow pose. And as we exhale, we'll slide the hands down toward the knees, rounding the back, drawing the chin towards the chest in cat pose. Inhale here, drawing the shoulder blades as close to each other as possible, keeping that chin tucked even as you look up. And exhaling, focusing here on the low back and releasing down there on the hips and the base of the spine. Inhaling, cow pose, drawing those elbows down and toward one another. Exhale, cat pose, bringing your attention to the space underneath the shoulder blades. Inhale, cow pose, arching the back, really getting into that low back here. Exhale, cat, focusing on the area at the back of your heart. Inhale, love. Exhale, compassion. Bowing down inward, drawing through the armpit area. One more time, each side. Cow pose. And then cat pose, really stretching down, feeling the stretch in the tops of the shoulders and the neck, and then rolling back to a nice tall spine. Let's go ahead and come to tabletop. You have blocks. This is a great place to use them on either side at the front of the mat. Set those aside for right now, but they'll come in handy. And we're just gonna find a nice solid tabletop here. And let's just turn the fingertips inward, rotating them towards you so that you're getting a stretch on the inside of the forearms. And just turn them as far back towards your knees as is comfortable for you. And then kind of send the hips back just enough to see how far you want to go to stretch the insides of those forearms. Take a couple breaths here. Inhaling love. Exhaling compassion. Finding where you can bring more compassion to yourself in this pose. Can you take more weight in the legs? Can you press more firmly in the fingers? And then go ahead and rotate the fingertips back towards the front of the mat. Bring the elbows down and send the hips back and rotate those wrists in one direction. And then the other, tucking the chin towards the chest and just letting the head hang heavy. And then bring the palms down to the mat and maybe walk the knees back a little bit more, dropping the belly and really stretching that heart, lengthening that heart down towards the mat. Might touch, might not. Notice the stretch you get in the shoulders. Letting the hips come high to the sky, even as you press down with the palms and the elbows. Inhaling love, exhaling compassion. And then we'll go ahead and come back up to tabletop. Let's just make some circles here. So we'll inhale here in our nice, strong, flat back. And as we exhale, let's round out through the right side and back towards child's pose. And then inhale up through the left side and back to tabletop, making big circles with the body. Pushing back into the right hip, coming through center, stretching up through the left side. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. Thinking about like a spatula, cleaning out all the brownie dough from the inside of the bowl, just scraping the sides, and then we'll reverse the circles. Exhaling out through the left side and back, inhaling up through the front side and forward. Pressing really into those fingers to help show your wrists a little compassion. And then we'll come back to a nice tall tabletop, nice and sturdy here. Let's stretch that right leg back, curling the toes under and really pressing back into the heel, getting a nice stretch along the back of the calf here and straightening out through that right leg, beginning to open the hip flexor. Inhale here. And as you exhale, let's go ahead and step that right leg forward, coming into a low lunge. And here's where your blocks might come handy if you have them. If you don't have them and you'd like to bring the floor a little closer to you, you can use boxes or books or maybe a firm pillow or something like that. And you can have these on low, medium, high. And you can inch that right foot forward as much as you want, or send that left leg back as much as you want, really getting a nice big stretch through the left hip flexor here. Just as long as the right knee doesn't go past the right ankle, the toes are pointed forward. Find Tadasana in the back, tucking the chin, drawing the shoulder blades down the back, drawing that left hip forward, even as you send that right hip back, and breathing into the front of that left hip flexor. You can have the toes curled under, or you can have the top of the foot flat to the mat, whatever gives you more compassion for balance in this pose. If you don't want to use the blocks, you can take your right palm and then your left to the top of the right knee, just behind the knee to the thigh actually. And maybe push down into the thigh so that you can draw up through the spine, drawing the shoulder blades down the back. Breathing into the front of that left hip flexor. Inhale one more time, and as you exhale, bring the palms down to block or mat. Go ahead and take the left palm to the mat and bring the right palm to the top of the right thigh. Then sort of look back over that right shoulder. Really sinking into those hips, tucking the tailbone. If you want a little bit more here, you can reach the fingertips up towards the sky, getting a twist here. You can look down at the floor or up towards the sky, whatever feels good for your neck, but keep that chin tucked. One more inhale here, wiggle your fingers, and exhale, palms back to the mat, framing the front foot and coming back to tabletop. We'll inhale the left leg back, curling the toes under and getting a nice big stretch in the back of that calf. Keeping strong through fingers. Equally distributing the weight between your hands and your legs. So you've got a nice firm foundation here. One more inhale, and as you exhale, let's bring that left leg all the way through, stepping to the front of the mat. Using your blocks if that feels good to you, or bringing the palms or fingertips to the mat. Adjust the legs so that you're not having any pressure on that bottom knee. If you are, you could always use a blanket or a pillow underneath the knee. Don't go beyond the left ankle with the left knee, and you can send that right leg back as much as you like. Really sinking into the hips, drawing the shoulder blades down the back, tucking the chin and breathing. Inhale, love. Exhale, compassion. When you remind yourself to inhale love, how does that feel in your body? How does exhaling compassion show up in your body, in your energy? If you'd like to walk the palms to the top of the left thigh, you can place the left hand and then the right. Draw those elbows down to the earth, sinking a little deeper into the hip flexor. Drawing that left hip back to keep the hips square to the front of the mat. One more inhale here, and we'll bring the hands back down to the earth. Bringing the right palm down to the mat or block, and taking the left hand to the left thigh for a little twist. Looking back over that left shoulder. And if you want a little more of a twist, you can take the left hand up to the sky, opening up through the side body, pressing evenly through the left foot and the right leg and the right hand, and reaching up with the left arm at the same time. Inhale here. Exhale, letting both hands come back down to the mat. Coming back into a nice wide-legged child's pose. Bring the hips back to the heels first, and then begin to bring the forearms down to the mat. And then the forehead can be to a mat or to a block. Nice big inhale here, inhaling love through the back of the heart. And exhaling compassion the same way. Go ahead and bring your palms together in Anjali Mudra, prayer hands. And then bend the elbows and bring the hands back behind the neck. You can kind of walk the elbows in and out so you can really sink down into the armpits, getting a nice big stretch in the shoulders, opening up through the side body. Breathing here. And then we'll go ahead and bring the palms back to the mat. Press up with the upper body, coming into a wide-legged tabletop now. We're going to plant that left hand right underneath the gaze and draw the right fingertips along the inside of the left arm. Really touching the inside of your arm and then across the shoulder and the collarbone, and reaching up towards the sky for a big twist. And then exhaling to bring the right arm down underneath the left arm. Bringing the left shoulder and temple to the mat, getting a twist and a stretch in the back of the left or right shoulder here. Send those left fingertips out as long as you can, getting really long through the left side body. And then draw the left arm back so that the forearm is resting across the right in a nice kind of a little T shape. Inhale love. Exhale compassion and relaxation, just letting go. Surrendering the weight of the body to the earth. Two more full breaths here. And when you've found those full 2 breaths, go ahead and press back up to a wide-legged tabletop. Plant the right palm underneath the gaze and draw those left finger tips back like a bow and arrow, reaching up towards the sky, maybe taking the fingertips all the way towards the ceiling, maybe keeping it low if we're taking care of shoulders today. And as you exhale, draw that left arm down behind the right, coming to the left shoulder, the left temple, and stretching that right arm out long. Inhale here, and as you exhale, draw the right arm back to cross over the left forearm. Sinking into those hips, melting, releasing any tension in the jaw, in the forehead, in the fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. Inhaling, feeling that feeling of love. Exhaling the feeling of compassion. Bringing those feelings deeply into the awareness of your body, embodying those feelings for yourself. This whole practice is a compassionate practice, one of self-healing, one of self-love. This place is your domain, this place on the mat. As we inhale, we'll press up into a wide-legged tabletop, and then we'll bring the knees parallel. And go ahead and bring the forearms down to the earth, and then stretch one leg back and then the other, curling the toes under and sinking the hips towards the earth. Releasing the tops of the feet to the mat and finding your Sphinx pose. First, establishing that regal, Sphinx-like upper body, curling the tailbone under to press the pubic bone towards the earth, pressing the tops of the feet into the mat, taking the feet as wide as feels comfortable for your back, but keeping them as close together as you can. Draw those shoulder blades down the back, press the elbows and the fingers into the earth, tuck the chin to lengthen the neck, dropping the shoulders as far away from the ears as possible, and then just kind of soften, back off about 20%. Still in your nice regal Sphinx pose, but finding some ease here. Some gentleness. And then we'll go ahead and bring the palms back underneath the shoulders, taking the thumbs in line with the nipples here. And really draw those elbows in toward one another, drawing the shoulder blades in and down towards the back pockets, tucking the chin. We'll inhale into a nice low cobra, inhaling from the back of the heart, and exhale to lower back down, keeping the chin tucked, maybe bringing the forehead down. Inhale into your low cobra, beginning from the back of the heart, and exhale back to the mat. Inhale again, finding your cobra, really drawing those elbows towards one another and pressing up as high as feels good in your body without straightening the arms fully. Draw the shoulder blades down the back as you continue to breathe here. One more full inhale, keeping that chin tucked. And we'll exhale, scraping the upper arms across the ribs as we lower down. And then we'll go ahead and turn the head to the left, bringing the temple down to the mat and letting the arms lengthen beside you, flipping the palms up towards the sky and just relaxing the feet. Letting those shoulders just kind of melt towards the mat here. And then we'll take that left arm out to the side, bringing the gaze back to the mat. Take the left arm either straight out and perpendicular with the body, or up above in line with the body, or anywhere in between that feels good in your shoulder. And then go ahead and press into the right hand and roll yourself up onto the left side. Stacking the hips, stacking the knees, stacking the feet, flexing the feet, drawing those toes back towards you to engage the legs, and noticing what you feel in this right hip here. And use the right hand like a little kickstand here. Just keeping that chin tucked to keep the neck nice and safe. And you can stay here, or you can bend the right knee, point it up towards the sky, and plant the sole of the foot behind the right leg, opening up into your fallen tree pose. Notice what you feel in the right hip. Notice where you can bring some compassion to yourself in this pose. Maybe adjusting the left arm behind you. Maybe bringing more of your palm down to the earth. Maybe coming back to the previous position and straightening the right leg. Doing whatever shows you compassion for yourself. You might want to reach back behind you for the right foot or ankle, and then draw that right knee in towards the left knee, and pressing the right foot back into the right palm, getting a stretch through the front side of the body with this side lying quadriceps stretch. Stretching through the shoulder, stretching through the hip. Drawing those knees in as close as feels comfortable for you, and noticing how that changes the sensation in the hip. Notice how this feels in the chest, neck, shoulder, front of the body, top of the thigh. Wherever you are, go ahead and release. Roll back to the belly. Bring those palms under the shoulders. We'll press up into it, low cobra. Keeping those shoulder blades tucked in, scraping the ribs with the upper arms. Exhaling back to the earth. And then turning your head to the right. Drawing those arms straight along beside you, turning the palms up and just kind of relaxing through the top of the body, letting the heels fall out to the sides. Breathing here. And then we'll find that same sideline quad stretch on the right. So send that right arm out, bring the gaze back to the mat. And then push yourself up onto the right side, adjusting the right arm to wherever is comfortable for you, where you're still getting some sensation of a stretch in that right shoulder. Use the left hand for a kickstand and stack the knees, the hips, the feet. You might find things feel a little different on this side than they did on the first side. So see what variation of this pose works for you. Maybe bending the knee and taking it up towards the sky, planting the sole of the foot behind the right leg for fallen tree pose. Breathing into that left hip. opening up. Or maybe reaching back for the left foot or ankle and drawing the left knee in towards the right, pressing into the palm of the top of the left foot or ankle and opening up through the front of the hip and the shoulder and the pectoral muscle and the quadricep. Breathing here or wherever you are in this particular pose, the first step or the second step or the third step, none of them are necessarily any better. It's what feels good in your body. To show compassion to your body, not pushing yourself beyond what feels good and nurturing. One more inhale, and we'll come back to the belly. And here we'll press up to tabletop and then draw the knees under you, crossing the ankles and sending the hips over the feet or swinging the legs out to one side or the other so that we can come to sit on the mat. Let's stretch those legs out in front of us. Flexing the feet, pointing the toes up towards the sky, or even drawing them in towards you, keeping a gentle bend in the knee. Always keep your blocks nearby you where you can reach them whenever possible. And we'll just bring the fingertips out to the sides and find that nice tall spine again, tucking that chin. Drawing the shoulder blades down the back, letting the elbows and the shoulders be heavy. We'll inhale the arms up alongside the ears, coming into our victorious pose, lifting the heart. And as we exhale, we'll hinge forward at the hips. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And as you exhale, bring the palms or fingertips down to the mat. Inhale, length, drawing the heart forward, tucking the chin. And as you exhale, you can let the back round towards the thighs. Relaxing through the feet. Just finding a nice soft forward fold here. Hashimoto Asana. One of my favorite Sanskrit words. And then reestablish that spine, nice and long, drawing the heart forward. And then as we inhale, we can hinge back up, coming into a nice tall back and victorious pose. And exhale, releasing the hands back down to the earth. Let's go ahead and come all the way to the back, rolling slowly down. Bringing first one vertebrae and then the next down to the mat until you roll all the way onto the back. Hugging the knees in towards the chest and rocking a little bit from side to side. Maybe drawing the knees away and rock over onto the left hip. Maybe do some little micro circles there. And then rock over onto the right hip and do a couple micro circles there. Just allowing yourself to be your own healer here. And then we'll draw the left knee in and send the right leg out long. Point and flex the right toe. Make some circles with the ankles in one direction and then the other. And then really press through that right heel as you draw the left knee in towards the armpit. Making as much space here in this hip flexor as possible. This is where we hold a lot of stress because when we're stretched out, we tend to be crouched and at the ready to run. That is our natural stress response. Whether it's fight or freeze, we're either getting ready to run or getting ready to fight, or curling in onto ourselves. But when we can lengthen and release that hip flexor, we can let the body know it's okay to be open. Right here, right now, in this place, on this mat, there's nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. And it is safe to be here. One more inhale here, and with the assistance of the right hand, draw the left knee across the body and over to the right side. Bringing those toes to either the inside of the right thigh or calf, or to the floor or to a block or pillow, just so it's not hanging out there stressing on the knee. And then we'll send that left arm out long and take the gaze out over the left palm. Getting a nice big twist here. Maybe taking your right hand and massaging that left thigh or hip or into the ribs. Showing yourself that compassion. Maybe sending the knee a little farther away, finding some length in the left side body. And noticing how that feels in the left hip. One more full breath here. And the next time you exhale, really draw that belly button in towards the spine so that you can use your core to inhale the knees back to center, hugging them in again. Maybe drawing the nose to the knees, reestablishing alignment in the spine and the hips and the neck. And then hanging on to the right knee, bring the shoulders and the back of the head back to the mat and stretch that left leg out long. Point and flex the feet, rotate the ankles, whatever feels good here. And then really press out through that left heel as you draw the knee in towards the armpit. Getting a big stretch in that hip flexor again, opening up the left side now. Breathing here, making space. And then we'll inhale here, and as we exhale, we'll twist over towards the left, bringing the right foot down to a supportive surface and sending the right arm out long, gazing over the right palm. Breathing here, maybe bringing a little self-massage to the right side body. Maybe sending that leg a little straighter, getting deeper into the buttocks and the low back, noticing just how that shift changes the feeling here. And then see where you can find some compassion for yourself in this pose, whether it's softening, relaxing, letting go. One more inhale. And as we exhale, we'll draw that belly button in, using the core to inhale ourselves back to a nice hug here, rounding into your little ball of love. And then as you inhale, stretch everything out long, getting that nice, good morning stretch. Inhaling length through the right side body, and then inhaling length through the left side body. And then we'll find our Shavasana for today. Whatever that means to you, whether it's lying full Shavasana, full corpse pose, bringing the small of the back flat to the mat as possible, sending the heels out to the corners of your mat, and just allowing the feet to fall open, snuggling those shoulder blades in toward one another, and then opening up the arms to the sky, kind of rotating the palms upward as you draw those elbows inward to really open through the heart. Inhaling love, exhaling compassion. Think about something or someone or some place that you love. Think about being there with that person, place, or thing, and how it makes you feel. Letting all those feelings of love fill your body up. Inhaling that love. And exhaling compassion for that person, place, or thing. How much you care about him, her, they, or it. And then with that feeling just permeating your whole body, visualize yourself as a small child, maybe 2, 3, 4. Just ignore any sounds around you as my household kind of wakes up at the end of the day. As you visualize that small child that was you standing in front of you. And bring all of that love and all of that compassion to that small child. And in your imagination, maybe you can reach your hand out to take the child's hand in yours, holding it with all the gentle tenderness that you have within you. At some point, at some time, maybe somebody let that child down. Maybe somebody was not there for that small child that was you. And while we can't go back and change that, we are the adult that can now take care of that small child. Reaching out with love and compassion, holding that child in our arms, knowing that we have the power and the strength, the resilience and the will to take care of that kid. Inhaling love, exhaling compassion. Know that you can always come back to this place, this feeling within your body, this love in yourself and for yourself. This love that you were created for and created of. It's always right here within you. And you can call it up whenever you need it. Inhaling love, exhaling compassion. And then let's begin to wiggle the toes and the fingers, rotate through wrists and ankles. And then bring one sole of the foot and then the other back to the mat. And we'll just kind of windshield wiper the knees a little from side to side, taking the gaze in the opposite direction, getting one last little massage across the low back. And here you can roll to whatever side serves you best. Stretching out the bottom arm underneath your head to support you, using the top arm as a kickstand, coming into this fetal position. Giving that inner child one last little moment of nurturing. Maybe taking that top arm around the top thigh and giving yourself a little gentle hug. Keeping the eyes closed, go ahead and inhale and press yourself back up to a tall seat. Sitting in whatever position serves your hips best, whether it's cross-legged, in Sukhasana, Virasana, Hero's pose, or staff pose, Tadasana, whatever feels good for you. And then let's rub the palms together in front of the heart, creating a little heat and a little energy. And then bring those warm palms to the heart, first the left and then covering it with the right. Inhaling all the love you've created. And exhaling all the compassion that is within you. Surrounding yourself, sending it out into the world, into everyone you meet. Let's spread the arms wide and inhale them up alongside the ears, bringing the palms together and down to the heart. The light and the love that is within me honors and respects the light and love within you. Namaste.